and welcome to my YouTube channel, Fantasy World. Today I'm going to be reading the book called Winterhouse, written by Ben Guterson, with illustrations by Chloe Bristol. Today I'm going to be reading chapter 10, by the way, and it's called The Hidden Book. And how you transfer the word hidden into the word reader is this: hidden, ridden, redden, redder, and reader. And that's how to transfer the word hidden into the word reader. So let's get right into it. I'll be right back after a short notice. Don't I look more professional? I know I do. This song makes me look so professional. Okay, let's get right into it. Elizabeth spent the next 2 hours wandering from section to section, from room to room, and up the 3 floors, climbing ladders and studying shelves, reading the names on the busts that sat in the windows and examining the huge paintings that hung along the walls. She opened the door, catalog at random, and found Leona had written notes on almost every single card. Wonderful reader, or Arthur didn't do enough research, or given to Winterhouse Library as a gift by Mrs. Thornton Rhinestone, March 1960. There was one windowed stretch of walkway on the 3rd floor, lined with stained glass pictures of authors. Cervantes, Melville, Shakespeare, Dante, Milton, and more. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing those names wrong. Thank you very much. Elizabeth took out her little notebook and wrote the names under a new list with the heading: Famous authors whose books I want to read someday. At a hallway on the 3rd floor, Elizabeth stopped before the reference room, on whose closed door hung a sign that read, "Books here to be enjoyed in the library, only, not available for checkout." She was about to move away and examine a painting on the wall opposite the door for a moment when the feeling came over her so strongly it nearly clouded her vision. She put a hand out to make sure she didn't stumble, and then she waited for whatever was going to happen next. A creaking sound echoed in the hallway. The door to the reference room banged open. Elizabeth shook her head and took a deep breath. Why in the world do these strange things happen? She thought, and then she stepped through the doorway into the room. It was as large as Aunt Purdy and Uncle Burlap's house. The room was 9-sided rather than square, and its carpet was thick and soft, so that it was quieter than where she'd been, without an echo. She scanned the shelves, staring to her right as she entered. History and geography, moving through the lower numbers and all the way to religion and psychology. She felt as though she should be extra quiet here. There was a rolling ladder just before her. She sat her backpack on the floor, stepped up the ladder, and made her way to the top to see what she could find on the highest shelves. All the while glad she had the room to herself. It wasn't the feeling she often had at her aunt and uncle's house when she was doing something she knew she wasn't supposed to do, and that she might get in trouble for spreading an extra bit of peanut butter on her bread. Maybe, or using the shampoo in her bottle faster than Aunt Purdy told her she could. It was more than she felt excited in some private way, as though about to open a letter addressed just to her. She found herself at the top rung of the ladder, and at the highest shelf in the section. She studied the books, the pyramid of ancient Egypt, dreams and what they mean. Astrology for you. The title seemed badly mixed up, Elizabeth thought, and this seemed odd, given how orderly every other place in the library had been. As she scanned the row of books, she noticed they were loosely packed, and she felt certain a book or two must be missing. She scooted a length of books to one side, tamped them together, and saw them behind the in the space behind the books. At the back of the shelves, one jacketless, frayed volume lay forgotten, as though it had been accidentally pushed there years before. Elizabeth fished it out and examined the title on it, its front and spine. I'll be right back. I'm back. A guide for children, games, secret pastimes, and more. Interesting title. Elizabeth thought. She turned it over to look at its back, but there was nothing printed on its brown skin. It was the most average-looking, typical little book she could imagine. Granger. Okay. Was the author's name next to the title? I'm sorry if I read Granger wrong. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to read it. By the way, it's Granger. Granger, I think. I'm not sure. She opened the book. Riley Switch Granger was the full name, and the publication date said 1897. But there wasn't any of the other sort of the information you would expect to find in the front of a book. No company name or city or anything. The book was well over 100 years old, and something about this fact itself sent a thrill through Elizabeth. She examined the table of contents and found several pages of interesting entries. How to make a Japanese square kite. How to make a wooden water telescope. How to make a soap bubble pipe. How to make a boomerang. How to build a snow fort. How to organize a scavenger hunt. And many others. But the last several entries struck Elizabeth as more than a little odd. How to get extra dessert after dinner. How to fool your teacher into thinking you are smarter than you are. How to tell a story even the mayor of your town would believe. What kind of crazy book is this? Elizabeth wondered, and she found herself laughing aloud as she continued to read chapter headings. How to hide a puppy in your house. How to make people think you come from another country. How to make adults think you've eaten all your vegetables. 5 ways to avoid boredom if you've been sent to your room. She climbed back down the ladder and sat examining the books for 10 minutes, skimming here and there. Chimes sounded in the distance. Lunch would be served in 20 minutes. Elizabeth considered that this book because it was in the reference room could not be removed from the library, but she found herself wanting to take it with her to read whenever she chose. What if Leona wouldn't let me check it out, she thought. Almost before she realized what she was doing, she dropped it into her backpack. Oh my. Nobody's looking at it for a long time, she thought, even as she tried to ignore a small voice inside her that said what she was doing was wrong. She was thinking how strange it would feel to sneak the book out of the library and past Leona, though that was exactly what she planned to do. I'll bring it back soon, and no one will ever know. It's not like anyone's been looking for it. She departed the room, zigzagging across the board carpet outside the reference room for fun, and then taking the stairs on the long staircase 2 at a time. As she scanned the second floor that was coming into view, she saw the man and woman in black, their backs to her, standing before a long bookcase and studying a book they had taken from the shelf. Elizabeth stopped jumping and began scurrying down the stairs to move quickly out of sight in case they turned around. When they reached the landing, she looked again, but a bookcase was in the way now, and she could no longer see the couple. "Strange birds!" Miles called loudly out of sight 1 floor below in Leona's office. "Strange birds!" The sound echoed across the vast library. "Hush, Miles," Leona said. She, too, was hidden in the office. "Strange birds!" Miles called once more. Elizabeth glanced into her backpack to make sure a guide for children was hidden beneath her other books, and then continued down the stairs. Well, that was it for chapter 10. Do you guys think that Elizabeth did the right thing and take the book? It's not left. Remember that. It's not left. It's not. It's not. Well, if you did, she did. If you think that she did the right thing, okay. That's your opinion. Well, that is it for today. If you like this video, please hit the like button, the subscribe button, and if you want to see more videos like this, don't forget the notification bell down below. Thanks for watching. Peace.